Hello, welcome to another Touchy Gooners podcast. My name is Lewis. I'm joined by some of my usual culprits. We've got German DZ, we've got Nigerian Dan, and we've got Dr. Lee. Gentlemen, how are you today?
That's good.
Not too bad, man. Not too bad.
That out. I do out. I'm coming for them.
Hey, man. Scripto, get off the stream, man.
Off.
Hey, what's Elijah doing here, bro?
Elijah, this ain't Mugger, yeah? This ain't Mugger.
I see him in the live show. He says literally, like, it's like a drug to him. He said, Touchy Gooners is a drug to him.
Mate, tell your boss, by the way, don't tell Ben Foster to fuck off next time, all right? Yeah, have some respect for a legend, all right? Have some respect. Anyway, look, guys, there's a lot to unravel, man. A lot. We actually haven't done a pod since the drumming at the weekend. I wanted to do a Patreon, right? But it was difficult to get the numbers. There wasn't too much interest in it. Understandably so. You know, it was just one of them days, man. It was everything went. I turned off after 3-0. When it got to 3-0, I said, "Fuck this. I'm not watching this shit." Like I was basically about to turn off. After Xhaka got sent off, I said, "Nah, fuck this. I can't do this." I even said to myself, "I'm not watching another Arsenal game until Arteta is gone." And I feel like I'm being quite serious about this because, like, I can't watch this shit anymore. We're fucking. There's nothing about this team. Like the way we defend, we defend like Touchline do on a Saturday. Do you know what I'm saying? Like no one wants to win their duels. No one wants to get stuck in where it hurts. And these all sound like passion merchant things. I'm sorry to sound like that. But I feel like there is the time, like, for example, yeah, when we were going through that losing streak with Arteta in the last season, right? There were some semblances that maybe he had lost to camp, but I never saw performances that showed me that he had lost the squad. Right. And I think as a manager, that's the most important thing. When you've got the squad behind you, you can always turn it around. He ain't got the squad. You see how the man gave up? How they're defending against teams. They don't want to win challenges. They don't want to win their 50-50s. They're finished. He's finished. He is finished. And the sooner we come to the realization that he is finished as a football club, the better we can just move on quickly and just draw a line on this. Because there's still time to salvage this. I still believe that although this crop of players isn't the best in the world, and you know, it isn't you know, we're not world beaters, this squad can still be salvaged, and this squad can still be doing a lot more than what we've been seeing. Leroy, Dr. Lee, I'll come to you first. What was you doing on Saturday whilst you watched the game?
Depressed. I was thinking, right, I know I'm not allowed to self-prescribe, but antidepressants. I need to go pick someone up from somewhere, man.
I'm surprised you ain't been on it from a long time ago, mate.
Oh, I was so down. The thing is, I tweeted this the other day. Every year, I think I can't get more down on Arsenal. Like this must be bottom, and every time it gets even worse. At the moment, we are so bad to the point where I've never thought I'd see an Arsenal team be this bad when I started supporting Arsenal when I was watching football. I don't know, man.
I think I have hit rock bottom.
Yeah, I think I've hit rock bottom. I think it was just disgraceful. As you said, like there was nothing. Them players gave up. They gave up. Once they went 1-0 down, everyone lost their heads and they gave up. There was no effort. People weren't tracking people. People weren't putting in the effort. People, you know, when you're tired and you're like fake pressing or fake going into challenge and you're not really about it. That's what the whole team were doing. And you said he's lost the dressing room. He's lost. Yeah. They don't believe in him. They don't believe in his project anymore. And unfortunately, it's nigh on impossible. Even though he's got a lot of new players he can start, it's nigh on impossible to turn this around. So I think he's got to go. And every week he stays here, we're just wasting time. I've proper hit rock bottom as an Arsenal fan. I can't lie to you. I'm really like, I think I've got a bottle of Henny downstairs, so I might just start that. And,
share, please, because you know a bit of Henny and apple juice won't go amiss right now. I'm telling you, it's the thing is with this project is you can say, all right, cool, believe in the project. Look at what we're trying to do. Look at these beautiful patterns that we're trying to build. You know, oh, we were a bit unlucky there. But it gets to the point where sooner or later you have to come up with something. right? You have to produce results. Otherwise, the players are not going to believe in it. The fans certainly are not going to believe in the project that you have, this process that we're going through. So sooner or later, the results have to come. And, you know, I've listened to a couple of Arsenal podcasts this week. And, you know, like, I feel like they've encapsulated my thoughts quite well. And I'm struggling to kind of have like a unique perspective on things. And, you know, Elliot from Ars Vision, he said something about like Arteta, his tenure right now is like a wound that has been opened. And, you know, once a wound is opened, it heals slowly. But then you get some damage to the wound and it opens up even more. And I just don't see this wound ever healing, you know. So in that case, you need to just chop off the leg. You need to chop off the leg, get a prosthetic one. Or I don't know, Leroy, is science these days? Can we get a good leg? Can we?
Well, yeah, you can get a good leg, but that's a bit extreme. That's
right. Okay.
If you ask me, but
yeah, right. We'll see where we are. We'll see where we are. But Dan, German Dan, I'll come to you next. Man, I'm struggling to ask the questions. I'm being a really shit host right now because I just want to rant and rave and
scrambled. I hate you.
Yeah, my head is scrambled, and it shouldn't be. Like we're on Wednesday evening, and I should be over it. And to be fair, I am over it. Like I am over it. I was over it before the game even started. I knew we'd lose. But how are you trying to balance out the fact that, you know, coming into this game we knew we would lose, right? No one was predicting us to win. But then how do you balance out the fact that, okay, we knew we were going to lose, but the manner that we lost in, it still brings us rage. Do you know what I mean? It's still very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it was expected, but then, as you say, the manner not only brought rage, but I don't even have an English word for it. You know, I'm not going to say the German word, but
say the German word.
Yeah, say the German word. Say the German. Wurzbrandtechnik.
No, but basically, it's just it gets you to, as you said, rock bottom. I think is a good sort of description of it. It's like it fills you with no hope. You know, there's not a spark, not a glimmer of hope. Watching that performance, because I don't pay too much attention to possession stats usually, but I think we had like the lowest possession recorded in the history since they've done the stats on this.
9% in the second half.
But you know, it's crazy.
How do you even have 9%? I swear you get a percentage just when you take a throw in. So like, how do you get 9%? How does that even work,
bro?
If you get a goal kick, if Leno just takes his time with a goal kick, career, like take a minute, it'd be like 10% minimum. So like, how the fuck did we have 9%?
Like, I, honestly, there was nothing. I think we had one shot to like 28 shots of theirs, no shot on target. It was just crazy. Some of the stats were crazy, and then the Xhaka incident, I think even way before that game, we lost it. Xhaka just took the easy way out. Way before that, we lost it. He made it just maybe a bit easier for Man City, but I think they took their foot off the gas for a long time in that game as well. It just felt like, and this is something that we said and what I've kind of ascertained towards some of the signings that we've made, yeah? Like, we are not there to compete, and Arteta doesn't provide the best platform for the players to compete. Regardless of player quality, which we all question on the signings, you can still compete with Man City. We're still a Premier League team. We still have international players, Premier League players. We should still be able to compete. We should not go there and get completely waxed like Norwich. Yeah, you know. So he doesn't give you the ability to compete just the way he sets you up. And I think it was just so weird. Like, why are we going 5 at the back, 3 midfield, 2 up top? Something we haven't tried before, this formation or this iteration we haven't tried before at all. Why didn't you try that last week with Chelsea and then, you know, take it into the game with Man City? Like, the centre's just lacking with Arteta, you know? A lot of his decisions, and I think this is when, you know, a manager is done, and a lot of the decision that he makes do not make any sense to you anymore. You can't see the pattern of thinking or even when you try, like, and I try hard to understand what he's trying to do. But some of the decisions are just baffling. And then also I think one of the big things that people were saying about raising the floor and floor raisers and players that we've signed, Nuno Tavares on the bench, unutilized, Kolasinac played 90 minutes. That's the player that was supposed to be, you know, coming in, taking Kolasinac's spot in the side. El Neni came on, I think, in like the second half. I'll start the second half. Not sure when he came on, but he came on ahead of Lokonga. Isn't Lokonga the guy that was supposed to take his squad space? And actually Tobias' squad space, so should be ahead of him in the pecking order. Lokonga unutilized, but Neni, the guy that shouldn't be utilized anymore, was. Then at right back, Cedric is the guy that's being used. Chambers has not been. Chambers, you've been used as a right centre back. Why is he being used there? You know, we've got a number of centre backs out on loan who I believe are better centre backs than him. With Saliba, we got on about him all the time, but I'm actually pretty sure Mavropanos is a better centre back than Chambers too, out on loan. You know, decisions are baffling, and we're left with a depleted and maybe squad short of quality because he made some dumb decisions on the outs and outgoings and incomings. All his fault. I don't want to hear any excuses anymore about Arteta's. This is not Arteta's team. We've seen a number of people have summarized it very well and very clear and concise for people to read it. The team that is very likely to start against Norwich will all be players that are completely backed by Arteta, have either been signed or renewed by Arteta. There's no doubt in our minds that this is the squad that he wants. He's been here now over 18 months, I think. I haven't done quite the maths, maybe 20 months. Long time.
It is.
Long time, you know. So, boy, that boy Arteta, he needs to. We need to have 3 wins on the bounce. So he, you know, I think he should be sacked. A win against Norwich, a win against Burnley is not enough. We have to beat Spurs as well. I think that's the only way we can climb up the table, because at the moment it's looking peak. In my life, I have never seen Arsenal after 3 games rock bottom, -9 or -10 goal difference, 0 points collected. Listen,
0 goals.
0 goals scored. I support Hamburg.
We haven't scored yet.
Listen, I've seen my team get relegated in Germany. They didn't even start like this. This is craziness, and this is Arsenal Football Club. You know, so
and the thing is, we can laugh and joke about relegation and stuff like that. And why am I echoing?
You sound calm to me.
Is it? I feel like I can hear myself.
Maybe.
What's going on?
You're definitely echoing. I can hear that.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay. Oh, guys, can you go on mute then whilst I'm talking? Yeah, that's better. I'm not echoing anymore. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say now. No, that's it. So you mentioned Hamburg, Dan, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. Hamburg used to be quite a big German team, right? And now they're slumming out in Bundesliga too. So it just goes to show that you football is cyclical. You can it goes around in cycles, right? Just because you were a big club 30 years ago, 20 years ago, like we were, doesn't mean that you'll continuously be a big club for the rest of time. And we can laugh and joke about the relegation angle, and I'm sure we won't get relegated. We have more than enough quality to stay in the top half of the table at least. But it just goes to show that, you know, with bad decision making, bad recruitment, we think we've hit rock bottom. It can definitely get worse, and we never thought it could get worse.
A boy can, trust me.
It can get worse. We always used to say under Wenger, "Oh, we can't get much worse than Wenger." Any coach other than Wenger will do a better job than this guy. We bring in Unai Emery. Oh no, we finished fucking. Where did we finish? Fifth. Finished fifth. Oh, get rid of Unai Emery. He's fucking terrible. Anyone would be better than Unai Emery. Just give someone with fresh ideas. Arteta, 8th. So twice. Yeah, although he came in halfway through the season when we were like 13th.
We don't care. 8th,
okay,
twice.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We were like 14th, 13th when he came in. Fair enough. I'm definitely not on the Arteta defense league, right?
We were 8th when he took over. To be fair,
were we?
Yeah. We weren't that low in the table.
Oh, fucking hell then. All right, fuck him then.
Mess.
Stone him. Dan, look. Oh, shit. What have I done? Yeah, Dan, listen. I know you've been on the booze drinking. And I'm sorry that you've been brought to this stage, actually, where, you know, you need to drown your sorrows with alcohol. Kids, don't drink. It's not the way out of situations. It's you need to face the music and deal with your problems as they come. Do not resort to alcohol. But Dan, how are you, man?
I disagree, man. I'm telling all of you out there, pick up a stiff drink because we need it. We need it for this season, man. Otherwise, we're not surviving.
Alcohol and antidepressants.
Yeah. But flipping heck, yeah. Do you know what? I know you guys said earlier that you think Arteta's lost the dressing room and stuff. Like, I actually don't. I don't think he has. Personally, I think a lot of these players still back him. They still really like him. You can tell by the fact that he's convincing so many of these men to sign contracts. He's convincing people to stay at the club, etc. So I actually think that a lot of these men are bought in, but he's just rubbish.
When you say convincing people to stay, right? Who is he convincing to stay?
Well, Maitland-Niles convinced to stay previously. Xhaka, Bellerin.
So basically, all players that no other sod wants.
Yeah, but this was.
They're already at a club that is going to be better than anywhere else that they could go to.
Yeah, no,
so
I
don't think that's a good example of like.
But this is when they all had offers to leave, right? You get, so it's not that it's like this summer where there's basically no bids. I think all of these men had very good reasons to leave the club. Just in terms of Xhaka, obviously he fell out with the fans. Bellerin, I think he just wanted something new and different. He's been here for a long time. Maitland-Niles, he wasn't happy with his position, this, that, and the other. So I think at the time, he's done, what he said he would do on the tin. You can have guys like Balogun, Aubameyang as well, who were, their contracts expiring, etc. He's managed to convince them to stay when people thought they were going to leave. Holding was on his way out, told him to come back, as Robin Stanford has said as well. So I think there's been a lot of U-turns here. And if you look at the team that started, Leno, he's picked him over Martinez. Leno, he said in that interview at the start of last season, the club always made him feel like he was the number one, always been the number one, was always going to be the number one, etc. Chambers, I don't see a reason why he would go out on a manager that's got him playing for Arsenal. Cedric, that's Arteta's signing. Tierney, new contract. Saka, new contract. Odegaard just signed. Xhaka just signed a new contract. Smith Rowe just signed a new contract. Aubameyang, I think is probably Aubameyang and Kolasinac are probably the only two there who I think we don't really know what their relationship is like with Arteta. So for me, I'm not really having this excuse that the players have bailed on him. I think that's an easy excuse for people to say. I just think the guy is a shit tactician and a shit manager, and he's not able to get the best out of them, because the names that I've mentioned here, who in that lineup, like if you're playing a midfield of Xhaka, Odegaard, and Smith Rowe, who in that midfield is going to win you the ball back, or is going to, be an elite presser, right, and get the ball back and win the ball back off one of the best passing teams in the league in Man City? Who even in that defence is a good tackler? Tierney, I think his defending is probably slightly overstated. We don't see him do much defending on his best day, but I think he's okay defensively, nothing, spectacular. Cedric, Chambers, Holding, Kolasinac, we know all four of them, man, cannot defend for toffee.
That's one hell of a car crash, that defence, isn't it?
Do you know what I'm saying? So even if they played out of their skin against Man City, what are they doing to really disrupt Man City possession? Do you get what I'm saying? Off the ball, all of these men are not it. So really and truly, I don't really know what he was thinking picking that lineup. And I remember in the group, I said it as well. Like, I saw the lineup and I thought, this is crazy. This is insane. I'm seeing a back three of Chambers, Holding, and Kolasinac. Kolasinac, who is literally supposed to be out the door. Pablo Mari apparently not good enough to start after you signed him, 18 months ago. Who else? Lokonga, you've just signed, and they said all this stuff about raising the floor of the team. When Partey's out, Lokonga can step straight in. So now you're saying he didn't play midweek against West Brom, so he wasn't like rested or anything like that. He's had a full week to play, and now you're saying he's not in your starting lineup against the champions. So this is my thing. What's the point of signing him if he's not going to play games, the important games, when Partey's injured? Do you get what I'm saying?
As well, didn't we? Do you remember when we had the pod with Shaps where we said Lukonga's nice and cool, but if we're not using them, this is a waste of money for the season. What are our objectives this season? And again, use down any, you know.
Yeah, and then he came off the bench. So this is my thing. I just think this guy he picks teams and he sets the team up to do shit. Like, I'm sorry, I don't understand how.
So what's he on a suicide mission then? Because there must I want to understand where the logic is. Like, can someone provide an argument to me as to why Cedric played, as to why Kolasinac? What is that all about? Fine, I get it. Mari had a stinker against Lukaku, right? And I'm not a Mari fan. None of us are Mari fans. We've all said from the get, this guy is not good enough to be a starting centre-back. Backup at most. And even now, it is even looking like a backup is looking a bit higgy. Do you know what I'm saying? But he must be better than Kolasinac. Kolasinac not even a centre-back. He's not even a centre-back. And we're in the process of trying to rip his contract up and send him out the door. Please explain to me where the logic is in playing these guys. Cedric hasn't played when was the last time he started a game? You know, like, I just don't understand what he's trying to do. I don't understand what he's trying to do and how it must be a suicide mission. It must be. Like, he's trying to get himself sacked, surely. Like, what other explanation is there?
I'll tell you something. In my opinion, Arteta's ego is bigger than his desire to win. And I've said this before. And I've said this with the Özil thing last time around, and it just keeps like there's always more evidence that suggests that. And the Ainsley Maitland situation substantiates it, in my opinion, as well. He doesn't pick players necessarily ability or even the way they're trained. I think sometimes he just picks them on because they back him. So this is what he does, you know. And with the Cedric situation, Cedric, honestly, one of the worst performances I've ever seen in my life. I've looked at the stats just to double check. This man had 8 duels and won 0 duels in 90 minutes.
Dan, you can't tell me these men are playing. You can't tell me these men are playing.
Oh, he's ass though. He's just shit.
Hey, no. The thing is, no, he's shit. He's shit. Don't get me wrong. He's shit. But we've seen Cedric play before.
And the thing is, Lewis,
he hasn't become a Conference South player overnight.
Yeah, he hasn't.
Yeah, he did. He had but it's all right.
The way Arteta manages these guys, it's not surprising to me that their level drops because he chucks them all in the gulag. It's not like these men are rotated on and off 1 week. So that's what Pep does, right? You can't predict a Pep lineup. Because these man, Sterling's on the bench 1 week, then he's back in, and then Mari's on the bench another week, then he's back in. Bernardo, same thing. But what Arteta does is he chucks these man into the gulag for weeks on end, yeah. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're back in the lineup. Start, give me a good performance. Do you remember when Ainsley Maitland-Niles last season? He didn't play at all in the Premier League, yeah. Didn't play at all. Then he was chucked in against Crystal Palace and he dropped a stinker. And people are at left back, right? And people are surprised. But it's like, big man, you've not given me any fluency of minutes. You're not giving me any consistent minutes. You're putting me in centre mid in Europa League. You're playing me right back in Europa League. You're playing me left wing in Europa League. Sometimes coming off the bench. Then you're asking me to come in and do a job. Cedric was literally out in the cold for the whole end of last season. Now all of a sudden he's good enough to be starting against Man City. This is the way he manages players. He sets them up to fail. There's no consistency.
But then why would those same players have any backing of him? Like why would they want to continue under this managerial regime if they're constantly being hung up to dry? If they're not, you know, the players don't want to be embarrassed. And we'll get onto Xhaka in a minute. I'm a firm believer that Xhaka did what Xhaka does, which is the tough got going and he found the easy way out. He said, fuck this, I don't want to be involved with this shit. You know, and I feel like to him, it just comes subconsciously. You know, like he just does something stupid when the tough gets going. And like, I don't know about you guys, but mate, we've got another fucking 3 years of this shit. You know, is it 3 years?
I think
is it 3 years?
Were
there anyone defending Xhaka? Like, was the Xhaka Defense League out on a full effect on social media? I don't really go on social media much anymore.
I blocked them all, and they probably transferred on my block list, so it's calm.
They're still out there, man. I'm seeing like, he went for the ball the same way as Christensen went in the FA Cup final when he took up Bellerin and stuff. I mean, we know that
Did you think it was enough, Dan?
I think it was a sending off. Same way I think the Christensen one was a sending off, to be honest. So high and reckless, and it was just stupid. At some point, you just have to use your brain. You have it, right? So use it. He doesn't use it often enough, or not when he really is required to use it.
And the scary thing is he's supposed to be our leader, our captain.
Yeah, well, no. They make the jokes of the real captain because they're discounting Aubameyang as the captain. They say the real captain is back. Yeah, the real captain is costing us games a lot of times. Yeah, I mean, you know. So
yeah,
don't want to talk too much about that guy, man, because I think that's the worst thing that we've done this summer.
I think people make for me, obviously the re-signing of Xhaka is where this summer really, it was like it really winded me. It was like a proper gut punch. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Body punch.
I remember exactly where I was when I saw that Xhaka was being given an extension. I remember it like it was that traumatizing for me. Yeah. That I remember exactly where I was, exactly what I was doing, what I was wearing, all of that shit. Yeah, when I found out Xhaka was staying at the football club. And it hit me like a fucking ton of bricks. Do you know what I mean? Someone might as well have just called up and said, oh, yeah, one of your family members is let me not even, I'm going off on the tangent here. But yeah, like it impacted me that much. And I just felt like, nah, this summer is a write-off now. Because we're not going to sign another centre mid. Yeah, which is, we all identified centre mid as a position that we could make real headway in. Real headway. If we sign a centre midfielder for Partey, all of a sudden, we're on the up. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we had signed Basuma this summer, along with our other business, we would have been a lot more optimistic, man. Even with the Ramsdale, when we'll get onto the new right back signing, even with Ben White, we could have stomached it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because at least we made real headway in a position in need, like where we actually needed someone. But alas, we're still with this fucking bozo, man. Honestly. Like,
Lewis, you're right about remembering where you were when that news was announced. Yeah, I was on the way to Asda to do my weekly shop, and I had to sit in my car and I was staring at my phone for like 15 minutes before I could exit and go into Asda, because I was like, nah, surely not. I was refreshing my TL, being like, nah, someone's trolling me. But I genuinely think you're right, because I think there was a bit of optimism about the window right up until that point. I think people were sort of saying, yeah, Ben White, it's a bit expensive, but we're getting linked to these centre mids for 40 million here, 40 million there. We must have money to spend elsewhere. But the moment you see that renewal happens, you're sort of saying, well, actually, maybe these men are a bit broke, because for me, if they had peas, you're selling him and you're
Nathan saying you got peas because you shop at Asda,
I don't know what's his when was
Wait until you find out where Dr. Lee shops.
Yeah, for real. Dr. Lee's a Waitrose and M&S food connoisseur, you get me? Yeah?
Man gets his beans from Selfridges, bro.
Let me tell you, Waitrose, wait, you don't cut it now. Until I move next to a Waitrose, it slaps.
I ain't cutting it, bro. I'm jealous.
Hey, it slaps differently.
It has the best biscuits still.
Listen, I'd rather go broke, and I'd rather use like single-ply toilet paper and shop at Waitrose from now.
Yeah, them £10 Costa cream slap still.
But it's actually a mess, and I think everything wrong with Arsenal. I'm not going to put it squarely on Xhaka's shoulders, but I do think he is probably a bigger hindrance to us actually going up several levels than people realise. I think people think that his good games sort of make it worth it, but his good games, I think, aren't actually that good. I think a good game for someone like a top-class midfielder, you probably end up winning, 3 or 4-0 when a top midfielder has a great game. Like, think about the games where Cesc Fabregas ran the show, Arsenal would literally wash teams aside. Where Vieira dominated the midfield, other teams couldn't have a sniff. I think a good game from Xhaka is where he's got like 96% pass completion, and we've had a 1-1 draw. Do you know what I mean? Like he himself having a good game doesn't even really mean that the team wins.
And 35 of his 70 progressive passes go to Tierney.
Mm. And they count as progressive passes because by dint of them going forward, right? Like it's just on a diagonal.
Because they might beat the right winger who's nowhere near them.
Yeah.
I think that makes a good point there, though. Like even, I mean, you mentioned Fabregas and Vieira; they were certified world-class elite players. Like even Aaron Ramsey, top player, but not a world-class player. When he had a good game, usually decides the game.
We see it with Pogba. Like, look, I know we're not going to get anyone as good as Pogba. But you see the influence that Pogba has on a pitch for Man United, and we're just bereft of it right now, man. I just can't believe we've done this to ourselves. Is there anything else to talk about the game? I know, like, I don't really want to go into the nuts and bolts of it, to be honest, because it's just like I ain't even seen half the goals, if I'm being honest. So, did you think that was it City's second goal? Do you think that should have stood? Like Chambers took a thump in the face. I thought
that should have not stood. I mean, we would have still got slapped, but people need to stop being disingenuous as well. Like when we consider the goal, that's not a foul. That is a foul. That's actually a red card. Mum punched him in the face. A swift one too, and it's on camera. Like, but I don't understand how it's not like That's
the thing is that's exactly something that would happen to us. Like Chambers, I don't know what I want him to do. To be honest, I'm just so dismayed by. I want him to punch him back, kind of thing. Like I don't know if I want that. I'm just tired of our players getting beat up on, just being pussies, little fucking weaklings. Like it's such. Honestly, it's so.
The thing is, though, he has to go down in order to force the review. That's the way.
It was similar to the Ruben Neves thing, right? With Pogba, like the fact that he stayed on his feet means that it's a stupid rule. It's a stupid rule, isn't it? But yeah, I can't believe they actually looked at replays of both those incidents and thought, yeah, nothing wrong with that. Like, there's no consistency. There's no consistency in the application of law. But yeah, you're right. We still get slapped, irregardless of we probably lose. We probably get slapped 4-0 to City, even if they do get a man sent off, and we're a man up. So
do you know what confuses me about this Arteta and this Xhaka loving? Like, all we hear is constantly how he wants to play with a high press, he wants to play with a high line, he wants to squeeze the pitch, he wants to dominate the football, he wants to win it back quickly. But none of his disciples or the player he chooses are conducive of playing that type of game. Like, if you're going to play that type of game, why are you playing with Granit Xhaka? It makes no sense. Why are you playing with Pablo Mari? It makes no sense. Why are you playing with Rob Holding? No sense. Cedric, no sense. Chambers, no. You cannot play that type of game with those type of players and not get absolutely destroyed. It's just impossible. You want runners, you want people who cover the ground quickly, you want people who can press and win the ball back, you want athletes who can defend 1v1 at the back, you want people who can go the other way easily. None of the players that are his disciples can do that. And all the players that he doesn't like, all the players like Torreira, good presser, quick at covering the ground in short spaces, good tackler, Saliba, an actual athletic defender. The players that he cast aside can actually do the job he wants. I'm so confused. He's a world-class bozo for actually trying to say, I want to play this way, trying to structure a team this way, and picking the players he does, because they're completely counterintuitive. They're completely counterproductive, sorry.
Even someone like Maitland-Niles is probably tailor-made for that right-back role, for everything that you want to read in The Athletic. He wants that inverted player who can defend 1v1, win their duels, come into midfield and block up the space there, build up in a back three, etc., etc. To me, that is Maitland-Niles to a T. Someone that wants to play midfield as well. So that sort of works to his benefit. He's one that finds himself in a gulag and finds himself fifth choice right back at the club. I just find it very funny that you invest time into players like Bellerin, into players like Holding, centre mids like El Neni, centre mids like Xhaka, Kolasinac still getting minutes in 2021. It's insane to me that, and on top of that, the sort of the youth project thing that this guy's tried to peddle. Every single action that he's done in terms of the players that he's fallen out with, they've all been the young players. Maitland-Niles, Saliba, Guendouzi, Torreira, they have all been guys that you could potentially see as part of Project Youth, and they're the ones that he's sort of cast away and sent away. So in favour of players like Holding, Pablo Mari, Willian, and all of these, man, Xhaka, you've given a new contract to at 29. So all of this stuff that I'm seeing, it doesn't wash with me when he says it's a process. We're trying to start new. We're trying to do this, because if you were doing that and you gave Holding's minutes to Saliba last season or Willian's minutes to Reece Nelson last season, then maybe I can believe you and I could get with this whole Project Youth thing. But clearly the actions that you've taken to date, bar this summer, have not been that at all.
Yeah, this Project Youth stuff is just to buy time. That's the new approach. That's the new strategy. They realized that, I think initially they went with experience and didn't go to plan. Signed the wrong type of experience, wrong type of players. And
Shit,
then
experienced players.
Exactly. Yeah, basically that. And then they just completely revamped it and said, we're doing all under 23s. We're signing only prospective players, and that's what they're going with now. I think that's the best way for him to continue with the narrative that he's pushing of, we are building something and we're doing a process, when for the first sort of 10 months in this tenure, that was not the ideal plan that he was actually pursuing. This is something that he's put in place after that poor run in November, October, December. And I think he realizes that the youth thing is the thing that buys him time. Because the way Bukayo Saka, Smith Rowe played and basically reinvigorated our form for 4 games, got him so many plaudits that he knows that this is how he wins fans.
Not if you're not winning games, though, man.
No, of course. He was going to try win games with them, but this is what the narrative he's going to go with. And at least he has a more substantial excuse now, saying lack of experience, we're building something. Whereas before, it's like, well, you're playing Willian, and this man is 35 years old, and why you shit, kind of thing. Like, now he has more excuses, and he's just building up more excuses, in my opinion. I mean, for the long-term future of the club, these signings could prove to be good. But I don't think that is his actual intention. I think he's just trying to buy more time for himself.
Well, let's move on to the transfer window itself. Obviously, we did do a piece of business yesterday. Bit out of the blue, really. I had seen Spurs linked to is it Tomiyasu? Is that how you say his name? Tomiyasu?
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll roll with that. We're happy to go with that. Yeah, cool. Sorry to any Japanese people if you are offended by my pronunciation. Yeah, so we signed him. Never seen him before. I watched a YouTube clip of him. Well, not a YouTube clip. I watched a full video of him on YouTube, and to me, he just looks like I'm not trying to shit on this signing whatsoever, right? But he looks to me like a centre back playing right back. And I understand people will say, well, that's what Arteta wants. For me, it's just not for me. It's not for me. I don't want my right back to be a centre back. I don't want my right back to be a Callum Chambers, even an upgrade on Callum Chambers. I do not want that. I want my right back to be like a Kieran Tierney. That's how I want my fullbacks. I want you to be athletic. I want you to be dangerous going forward. This geezer, he is a centre back. He is a centre back who is pretty handy on the ball, a good defender. So he's gonna be an upgrade on Chambers. But yeah, man, for me, I can't get excited about this signing. Even if it is a marginal upgrade. Have any of you guys seen Tomiyasu before? And does anyone have any thoughts and feelings on him?
I haven't seen him before. I've done the same thing as you and gone and watched the YouTube clips and stuff. Did any of you catch that last day phone breakdown of the guy? Because I've already done one with someone from Italian football.
No.
He said when he started talking, he said, yeah, he's a good centre back. He was just talking about him like as a centre back. He didn't mention right back once. He said,
but that's weird because he played the whole season at right back last year.
Yeah, but that's what he said. He said centre back, that he's a good centre back, particularly in a free, blah blah blah. That's what he was saying the whole time. But to me, I ain't seen nothing about the brother, so I can't really pretend to comment like I know about him. But I just don't like the rumours that I've heard coming around, like he was being marketed aggressively, touted to clubs. To me, it just looks like we were struggling and we got offered something by an agent and we took it type thing. I'm really not believing we were tracking him all summer. And even if we were, I just don't like this over-specific recruitment that we're doing, because obviously Arteta wants very, very specific and certain things. Most coaches aren't like that. So I would really just like have good all-rounded talents in certain positions. So buying a centre-back or a centre-back to play right-back just doesn't really make sense to me, because then obviously Arteta's probably not got long in his job left. And then we're back to square one looking for a right-back that's suitable to actually play the role that a right-back should, similar to Kieran Tierney on the other side. So I don't really get it, man. Hopefully he's pleasantly surprising, and like from the clips, he looks good technically. So hopefully that can translate to some decent stuff going forward. He's got good ball progression stats, apparently. Fair enough.
He can ping off either feet. He's got a good. He seems to be a good passer.
Pretty well footed, yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
The thing about a right back is, or a fullback, sorry, the skill set is how good are you in small spaces? How good are you in isolation situations? Because fullbacks probably find themselves in the most isolation situations on the pitch in modern day football. And then how good is your delivery in the final third? And a lot of the running is how good are you running off the ball? How dynamic are you? Can you underlap? Can you overlap? Are you aggressive with it? Do you time your runs well? These are all skills that are pretty specific to fullbacks and not really anything to do with centre backs. Because especially, I mean, we're not a big club anymore really in the way we play, but we do have most of the ball in most of the games that we play. So we need to see him be. The fullbacks are a massive threat going forward, and they're massively important in how you attack. And if we are basically saying our right back or our right-sided defender can't attack, we're back to square one.
I think I'm going to put my neck on the line, and this is a very, very primal. Not primal. A very premature. Sorry. Judgment that I'm making. I actually feel like Chambers might be better going forward than him, from what I've seen.
So yeah, then if that's the case, we're fucked.
yeah, because at least Chambers can cross.
I'm not sure. I think I'll be careful because we haven't seen him play. So let's see him play, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, it's a premature judgment, and it's just from what I've seen off of like the YouTube video that I saw yesterday. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me and said like for example, we all liked Emerson, and
no, I didn't.
Okay, you didn't like Emerson. I liked Emerson. I think Dan Coogs liked Emerson. Leroy, I'm not too sure about you.
I ain't seen him either. So.
Okay, but I like the look of him. I like ultra attacking right backs. Right.
Someone go on mute.
I could. Yeah, go. Yeah, because I'm echoing. I like ultra offensive right backs who I don't mind if you're a bit of a slut. Yeah, as long as you can give me if you can make it up going forward, I can take you being a bit of a slut at the back. Pause. I can take it. But if you are just meaty in both aspects, I'm just sort of like, well, what's the point? All right, you're a good defender. Good on ya. Like it's like, well, I can't. Like you, I think you just have to be. If you're going to be a fullback, for me, you have. In this day and age, you have to be a threat going forward. I just don't really understand what Arteta is trying to do with this whole lopsided. We are pushed Tierney on, and I get it, but for me, it's just not how I want to see football played. I think it's too robotic. It's too structured. I don't feel like football is played that way. Listen, I'm not too sure. I don't know how good this guy's going to be.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I think my main comments around the signing is I do like his profile as a defender for the Premier League. Like I think he's tall. It looks like he's a good tackler. 1v1 situations. Doesn't look like he's slow, and it looks like he's good in the air. So as a basis, I'm not going to complain about that profile. What I am slightly concerned about is the fact that he's been brought in to play this sort of inverted right back situation, because for me, Arteta's probably going to be gone in the next sort of 6 to 12 weeks. Yeah. And if he is gone, it looks to me like this guy's probably a better fit at centre back than Ben White for, sort of the archetypal Premier League centre back. So we've spent £50 million on this ball playing centre back and compensated with his deficiencies by signing a very sort of defensive and sturdy right back instead, right? And so going forward, I'm not sure that's the best plan for sort of building a squad that isn't Arteta's. So like, say we bring in a German manager that plays sort of that pressing football like Jurgen Klopp, and he wants his fullbacks pushed high, and he wants his centre-backs to be able to defend space, etc. Ben White pretty much becomes obsolete, and so does this Tomiyasu fella, because he's not necessarily a bombing wing-back type fullback, yeah? And so we've then got two players who are super specific to Arteta's system that potentially can't be used by another manager going forward. So that is a concern to me. But let's see him play. Let's see what he's like, because I do like his videos. And I do think that with Ben White in there, we are going to need someone who can cover for him a little bit, because that first game against Brentford, it was actually frightening, because I knew that this guy wasn't. I knew he wasn't the best in the air and whatnot, but the way he got bullied and stuff, it was honestly bringing mad flashbacks of, Drogba versus Senderos, Squillaci and all of these men, and the way that these men just got flogged. And I'm looking at strikers in the Premier League. Newcastle, Callum Wilson, he's a big shithouse. He's not the biggest, but he gets in players' faces. Burnley, we know what their strikers are about. Even someone like West Ham, Antonio, he's going to finish him. He's going to fry him. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, what's going to happen there? So these are big games and points that we need to win. So
what's the chances? What's the chances that we see Tomiyasu at centre back and Ben White at right back this season?
The thing is, if we play a back three, Ben White can't play in the centre of a back three because he's terrible in the air. He can't be there. So if we do play a back three, I've seen Tomiyasu play. Does the central and a free have to be good in the air though? I think they're the big unit, man.
Yeah, and Gabriel,
I think it's the two either side that need to be good in the air. No?
Gabriel can't speak English either, so I can't imagine him in a centre.
He needs to sort it out. He's been here fucking 12 months, mate.
Lewis, stay calm.
Lewis, you're gonna be fluent Spanish
if I moved to Spain, I would know some fucking Spanish after 12 months.
Lewis will be there in 3 years saying, "I want chips now. I want chips. Iron chips."
Iron chips is very easy to get in Spain now, have you know?
I also have some thoughts on Tomiyasu. I think we probably have tracked him, because I've seen links with him earlier this summer, and we've kind of went through the archives today. I think I don't see that much of a problem with this signing, but in the grand scheme of things, I see a problem with the signing because of the Ben White signing. So what Dan Cooks touched on, I don't really quite see the point in Ben White when Saliba's there, which we've discussed already, and now we've signed someone that is actually good as centre back and right back supposedly. So why did we sign Ben White? Really, we could have just signed that Tomiyasu guy, covered right back and centre back, because he wanted an additional centre back, and kept Saliba. So it's just like, okay. I feel like his profile was interesting, but what Leroy touched on, he's very specific, which also makes me believe that Arteta was very, very adamant in this signing. And we know Arteta is meticulous and he has his requirements, and it seems to what his philosophy is that fits. We haven't seen that sort of implemented in a while. He uses Chambers as an overlapper rather than underlapper. But I think that also has to do with Chambers' inability to go in the inside and go past players and that way. So on the outside he has the space, on the inside he doesn't. It'd be interesting to see what and how this guy will be used. I think for the outlay, we shouldn't be too worried about it. He's a fairly young player, seems to have solid experience.
How old is he?
23,
22.
I think.
22, yeah.
It's a fairly young player. It's 15 mil. Like, this is the type of signing that at the start of the summer we would have made that. I'd be like, cool. I would have forgotten about it. Like, calm. It's just because it's on the last day of the window. I'm thinking, But really, in the grand scheme of things, just looking at Tomiyasu in isolation, it's like that signing is calm.
All of our signings are like that, though, aren't they? All of our signings are like, except maybe Ben White, but and maybe Ramsdale. But most of them are like, in isolation, do you know what? That's not actually that bad.
But
it's the business that we haven't done, which is the issue.
We spent 150 M's.
Exactly. And the problem is with the signings that you mentioned, Ben White and Ramsdale, they cost 80 mil. Tomiyasu cost 15. That's chicken change, really. So
imagine, I'm not to be so Brexit like Lewis here, but
you're more Brexit than me. You voted Tory.
Yeah, true.
Just protecting his money, innit?
Listen,
Leroy can't talk about Brexit. He was giving mad Brexit propaganda, mate.
When you have assets to protect, you can come talk to me. When you don't have, but anyway, now when I was there was someone, I think we were talking in the group chat and said there is a big thing about presence as well. So imagine you've got these, you're in the tunnel now, you're Antonio, you look to your right and you see Tomiyasu, Chambers, Cedric, whoever, you see Ben White, you're licking your lips and you're doing the Dan Coogs hand rub, like TM. But if you look to your right and you're in a tunnel and you see Gabriel, you see Saliba, 6'4", big units, you look back behind them, you see Partey, you see Basuma, you're in for a tough night. And I just feel like I'm so upset with the transfer window because the misallocation of resources is crazy. There was a there was a tweet, I think there was Ant, shout out Ant, who put on the TL.
Oh, don't shout out Ant, man, fuck that guy, bro.
Saying about, he got cooked for it actually, saying that you're signing 16 players from 16th Brighton and 20th Sheffield United, and you think we're going to improve.
Oh yeah,
we were having a big debate in the chat because I disagree with him. I think you can sign players from clubs like that, no problem. You just have to make sure the talent ID is good. But we were doing like how better you'd spend 150 million from like lower league clubs. And I was thinking, instead of the signings that we did, if we looked at 150 million and we got Basuma from Brighton, we got Vestergaard instead of Ben White for 15 million, whatever Leicester bought him for. We bought Ings for whatever 25, 30 million. Then we bought Rafinha from Leeds. Who else did I say? I don't remember. I think I said someone else. But it all came to about 150, 160 mil. And I was thinking, how much better off we would have been getting those players all from lower league clubs than the business we've just done.
Yeah, I don't think it matters where you sign players from, as long as the player. Because look, Jack Grealish almost got relegated with Villa last year. It doesn't matter who you play for, does it? If you're a good player, you're a good player at the end of the day. If your talent ID is good enough to spot those talents, then yeah, go and sign them. We've just signed. Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I think the point about presence is an important one because, I think Arsene Wenger, when he first came to the league, I think he sort of, he understood the assignment, yeah, in the sense that Arsenal were the biggest, strongest and fastest team in that league, first and foremost. And the thing that separated them as well, obviously there was a sports science and all that stuff behind it, but in that team that, became invincible, they had the technique as well on top. And for me, that sort of prototype of building a team and picking players for the Premier League has never ever changed. It's never ever shifted. It's always been who is the most intense, who can do the sprints, who can cover the ground, who can body man in the duels. Yeah, because first and foremost, that is what Arsene Wenger teams did, right? Even when they were down to 10 men, because of how well that they could compete, they won. So I think that's probably the only team who won more games or won or drew more games than they lost going down to 10 men, right? Because every single one of them man were 6 foot plus sprinters, big bodybuilders who would barge you off the ball. So that even when they went down to 10 men, you couldn't fist them up, you know? So Vieira with his 12 red cards didn't cost you a game because Gilberto was there to do the work of 2 men. Do you know what I mean? Henri, he was one of the fastest and strongest players in the league.
He was 4-man by himself anyway.
You know what I mean? You couldn't fist him up. Bergkamp, they call him like a soft touch, but he was 6'1". Do you know what I mean? You couldn't move him. Pires, 6 foot. All of these men were like PMP gods, yeah. And now, for some reason, I don't know what's happened. We seem to think that, you know, you don't need that PMP anymore. You're signing short men to play centre back. We have seen what happens to short guys in the Premier League at centre back.
But Ben White isn't short though, is he?
He's 6 foot. It's not tall.
He's metrosexual though.
What are you saying? He ain't short, but he has fake eyelashes and that.
Yeah, this is my thing about Ben White. Is I don't think it's to do with his height. I think it's more of a it's the aura about him.
He lacks presence.
Presence.
Nah. When I saw that dangly earring,
Colo Torre wasn't that tall, was he? What, about 6 foot, 6'1"? But you wouldn't.
Colo Torre is raised on hard food. I lie, bro.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's not a height thing though, is it?
Pushed me since before he had teeth, man.
But it's not a height thing though. It's a presence thing.
When Ben White came into the first day at Arsenal, he was wearing a dangly earring.
With a crucifix on.
With a crucifix. Bruv, do you think that will fly? Do you think Vieira's letting that fly? Myth. Do you think Tony Adams, what do you think Tony Adams would have said with Ben White coming dressed like that?
He would have ripped out of his ear, mate.
After being on the beds for flipping 2 hours, man, to get his tan. It's ridiculous, man.
Nah.
I think look, I think as we used to get onto pundits for, you know, maybe going a bit too much on the whole, oh, look at his hair, look at this. And we used to get onto it. But I think there is an element to being a physical presence on a football pitch. And some people misconstrue it as like how you dress, how you behave and your mannerisms and stuff like that. But if you've played football before, you don't want to play football with men who are a soft touch. You want to play football with people who can get busy.
I can't lie. I've got a problem with my centre backs being comfortable wearing pink. I can't lie to you. Like, it's just the issue.
I don't disagree with you.
The centre backs and the centre midfielders, or at least the CDMs, like they gotta be rock solid.
I know we've got to wear black boots. Like none of this.
I honestly believe things like this matter, and I think we've gone too far the other way. We've gone too far the other way. We're like, it don't matter. It's about the football. It's about the football. It's not just about football. It's a physical game.
Louis about to say I'm mad right now.
Yeah, I'm proper Brexit. Yeah, I'm me on a football pitch. Maybe I like watching football the way I play football in it. I play football everything high intensity. Do you know what I mean? Like I love it. I like getting stuck in. I love it. Do you know what I mean? But
Lewis was getting told off by the rep. Lewis was getting told off by the rep.
Yeah,
he was like, it's only you. It's only you. Everyone else is having a nice game. It's just you.
But that was my problem with our team during that game, Dan. It was just me. It was just me. We were a soft fucking touch. And guess what? We got absolutely butchered. We got butchered.
I don't think it was down to us being a soft touch.
It was, man. We were a bunch of pussies. We're a bunch of pussies. Whenever they went through on a counter attack, were we making fouls? No. Every time we went on a counter attack, they chopped us down. I'm not saying we would have won that game if we were stronger mentally, but we wouldn't have lost by as much as we lost. We wouldn't have. But that's my point. Like, in general, you can reduce. Being a man, being a physical presence on the football pitch doesn't win you football games per se, but it makes games competitive. So those games like against City, Yeah, you don't get clapped 5-0, and it looked like, judging by from what I've heard, it looks like Man City could have had 9 or 10 if they really wanted to. And towards the end of the game, it's like they were prancing through on goal like nobody's business because the team had given up. They're soft touches. They're a bunch of pussies.
I hear that, and I think I do agree that we just have the wrong profile of players in the core and spine of the team when certain players are missing. When Gabriel's there, I think the level is raised. When Partey's there, I think the level is raised. We probably need to do something different at centre forward, but that goes back to my original point around the lineup, where I don't think it's these men sort of running out on him. It's, if you look at that lineup, really and truly, who in there is actually going to win the ball back for you? I don't think you can really point to anyone in that lineup and say, this is the guy that's going to go and battle Rodri or Bernardo or Jack Grealish or anyone like that. Whereas even someone like Maitland-Niles, I know he's not necessarily the best player, but he's good in a 1v1. You know, he doesn't get twist up. He's got pace. He's got strength. We mentioned Gabriel. We mentioned Partey. Saliba, he's imperious in a 1v1 duel. Do you know what I mean?
Saliba's letting man do what? Oh, come on, man. I'm just tired of this team.
All of this. So, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm just saying this guy's filled our team with basically bozos, to be honest, on the physical side.
Weak, overpaid bozos. And yes, being overpaid has a lot to do with it. I'm sorry. I'm going full Brexit. I'm going full Brexit.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might have rented.
They're overpaid, man. They're overpaid. Anyway, I'm just so disillusioned with things at the moment. I'm not even making cohesive points. But anyway, look, what I wanted to do before we wrap things up is that I wanted to give like a brief overview of the window, and I wanted everyone to rate the transfers individually, and we're going to do like an overall rating, right? Because I think we asked the question on Twitter yesterday and the responses were absolutely hilarious. Yeah, scores ranging from like -1 million to, you know, like some people were saying like 6 out of 10, 6.5, 7 out of 10. Not quite sure. Yeah, I saw it.
Ever crack your smoking?
I saw it because I think people go too far the other way. I think people look at it like, oh, but we're signing youth players. Like, which one of them is like a really bad signing? And it's like, you've got to look at it from both perspectives. You can sign young players. Just because you sign someone who's young doesn't make it a good signing. They have to be good. They have to be good. They have to be better than what you're replacing them with. Like we signed Granit Xhaka when he was 22, 23. We signed Mustafi when he was 22, 23. What, they were good signings at the time because they were young? Like, it doesn't matter if they're just young. And this isn't a shot at anyone or any of the players that we've signed. In isolation, I actually don't mind most of the deals. But we're going to go through them one by one. I want everyone's thoughts and opinions and a rating as well. Like, out of 10, how much do you give that signing out of 10? And then we're going to do like an overall kind of rating, okay? Right, we'll start. Who was our first signing? Was it Ben White?
Hold on. You got to give us some criteria to rank this on, because this is what the individual ranking will be based on, right? Like price, requirements of right back, in your opinion, that kind of stuff.
Overall, just take everything into account and give me a rating.
Woo!
Okay? Everyone good with that?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Okay, cool. Right, let's start with Ben White was the first signing, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's start with Ben White. Dr. Lee.
3 out of 10. The reason is I think he's an okay player. He's not terrible. However, I don't think he is suited. Like, this is what I got bare heat on the account, yeah. And I need to, whoever you were, like, we'll see in it, because so far I'm writing it, and I'm not saying that I'm going to be right long term, but I'm writing it. So 1-0. But I said that this guy is someone you're going to have to carry physically, that he physically doesn't have the tools to play as a 2, and that we will have to go and play as a 3 because we need to shield him. Another one, we have to shield and cocoon. So I feel like Ben White's not going to cut the mustard physically in a two. So I feel like he's not going to be usable and to be able to play the formation we want. I think we played 50 mil, which was a significant amount of our budget, and we played a massive amount. We committed to 50 mil all in with no add-ons, innit? Or something like that.
I don't think we paid a large portion of it up front as well.
I think it's 50 plus 5.
Well, that's fucking insane. We paid so much money for him. Also, this amazing guy on the ball, I ain't seeing it. I am not seeing it. So I'm obviously being good on the ball and be able to like stride out from the back. Both number one, both Saliba and Gabriel can do that. Number two, I have not seen, apart from the clip ball over the top, I have not seen any passing that is going to move the needle for us and not even keep us where David Luiz had us, for example. So I feel like
is that just for Arsenal? Is that of what you've seen of him in whole? What
I've seen from him in general. I haven't seen it. So I feel like he's going to fail on his assignment for Arsenal. I feel like he's going to fail on his. Well, I just feel like he's going to be a failure of a signing. I can't lie to you.
I mean, 55 million, you're destined to fail.
But for 50 mil, even if he was good, if we overpaid and he was good and he could do the job, you'd firm it. But I don't think he's going to be able to do the job, and I think we're going to be stuck with a defender on our hands that we can't really use. We're not going to be able to use in the way we want. So that's a 3 out of 10 signing for me.
What are the positives of because you've gone 3? Where does the 3 come from? What are you giving marks for?
Because he's English, homegrown, and young, and we can resell him for probably 25 mil, so he won't lose the whole.
Or loss. Brilliant, love it, German Dan.
Ben White. I have a lot of the same sentiments as Dr. Leroy on this planning. Very much the same sentiments. Not a fan of the signing, but I like his profile. If he wouldn't be at Arsenal, I'd quite like the player. You know, I quite like him. If he wouldn't be at Arsenal, if he'd be at Leicester somewhere, I'd be like, yeah, cool player, nice player. Every now and then I might retweet one of his comms, but since he's at Arsenal, it's different. So yeah, I think I go with the same rating. Rating is based on that I do think he is a talented player, actually. Don't think he fits the requirements for what we want to do, fits the requirements for what a team in the top 6 in the 2 requires from the centre back. So I just don't think it's a good fit in that regard. Then the physical stuff we've discussed. What else? Yeah, 3 out of 10, basically. The price, if he would have been 20 mil, 30 mil, I'd maybe given him a 6 out of 10. But the price is nuts to me. It's the player that we paid the most money on this window. Prioritization in terms of what signing to acquire and what position to go in and do it for with the most money, and you're doing the centre back for Ben White, just doesn't fill me with much promise. And 3 out of 10 is pretty, yeah, it's as high as I can go. I was thinking, can I be more positive, give 4? I can't lie, I ain't got in my heart to give him 4, man.
Do you feel that Ben White, that's the key question, do you feel that Ben White will achieve what he was signed to achieve?
What was he signed to achieve?
For us to be able to play in a 2, in a 4-4-2, to play high up the pitch, to be able to squeeze the pitch because he's going to have pace, etc., going behind, and to be a ball playing centre back, so to help us in build up and start our attacks.
I think he can achieve that.
Let's be honest as well. When we signed him, there was a lot of talk of and comparisons to John Stones. So that's the level that we're looking at an English centre back that should be playing for England as well. That's one of the things. He needs to be in the England squad, and if he does well at Arsenal, he should probably be starting even in some of the games in the England squad. I don't know how old John Stones is, probably like 28, 29 maybe even now.
He's only 26, I think.
Oh, okay. Maybe he won't start then, but he needs to push for a starting place in the England squad. That's what the
27
expectations got to be. He's a 50 million player at Arsenal, and he's English. It's got to be so.
If he turns out to be as good as John Stones has for Man City, I think he would have gone somewhere to.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
A successful signing.
Yeah, I think that's fine because I think Stones. He's probably obviously it's Man City, so 50 mil for them isn't
tough,
quite the same.
Yeah,
but I think he has been value for them. Personally, obviously he's won trophies and stuff like that as well, which I think helps and aids his case. But I think Stones is a good player. I think last season probably is the one that went a long way to sort of justify his price tag. I think before that, you definitely could say it was questionable, and it's taken him a bit of time to sort of hit that level. For me, I'm saying White signing is a 0 out of 10.
Here we go. I was waiting for it.
The reason for that, is nothing to do with the player, but if you gave anyone 150 million pound and said you have 50 million pound, you have to spend 50 million pound on one player. No one in their right mind looking at the Arsenal squad will spend that on the centre back with the players that we have. It's a completely pointless signing for the way like Arteta wants to play. You have someone in Saliba that you can potentially coach, even if you think he's not quite ready to do half the things that Ben White can do in terms of the switches of play, the use of both feet, etc. Saliba.
What about if we had signed Varane? So, in just using your logic there, if we had used that 50 million to sign Rafael Varane, what would you have given that signing out of 10?
Yeah, I'll give that a better signing, a better rating. Because
what would you have given it?
I'll give that like a 7 or 8 out of 10 personally, because Varane is a centre back who is.
But you still spent 50 million on a centre back on a position that we didn't need.
But he's in his prime. He's certified world-class defender, right? He's a winner. He changed the whole mentality.
About that. He looked weak on the weekend, boy. So I'm cooking that agenda.
He had a good game on the weekend.
I thought he looked
Let's
weak.
go, Luke Bob. Let's go.
I thought he looked weak.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was all
right. He had a good game on the weekend. So for me,
that's a good game. We're going to have to start rating Ben White games accordingly.
You can say what you want about Rafa Varane, but he's a completely different echelon of player to Ben White. Yeah,
but like, that's why I brought it up though, because what you said initially was that it's nothing to do with the player; it's to do with the outlay in the position.
Yeah, in terms of my rating, so these man gave him a 3 out of 10. And I'm saying the quality of the player, right, is besides the point here. But if I'm going to look at his quality as well, that's what brings my rating down, because for me, he's not worth discarding Saliba for this season to spend 50 million pounds on him. If you're getting a world-class player, right, Sergio Ramos in his prime, Rafa Varane in his prime, Carlos Puyol, all of these men who have come here, done it before, fine, I can understand it. You're saying we can afford to give Saliba another year. But to give Saliba another year for Ben White, it doesn't make any sense to me. For Ben White to be your marquee signing of the summer, 50 million pounds. That is where you said this is the guy that we need to sign first, right? This is the guy that we need to prioritize, go back and forth with Brighton all summer to sign. It makes zero sense to me. If you sold Granit Xhaka and El Nene, right, for what is it, 15 million pound and 3 million pound maybe for El Nene, add that to the Ben White fee. You could go grab Bissouma, you could go grab Bruno Guimaraes, keep Saliba, and you've upgraded that squad considerably, so that now Partey's injured, you're playing those two as your centre mid pivot instead of Xhaka and Lokonga. Do you get what I'm saying? So like that Ben White signing, I think, has been highly prohibitive to us actually improving the team. The improvements that we could have made with that 50 million elsewhere was way larger than anything that we could have done by just playing Saliba instead of buying Ben White. That's why I'm giving it a 0.
I understand what your point, because what Ben White is expensed us is an opportunity cost of improving elsewhere. So he has to not. I would even disagree with what Leroy said in terms of like what his remit is. I think Ben White's remit has to be. He's been bought to improve us both offensively and defensively, but to a really high extent, I feel like, because we've expensed that the opportunity cost of upgrading heavily in centre midfield, maybe a forward, all because we wanted to sign this really important player who's going to play out from the back. So that player better improve us ferociously in all areas of the game, really and truly, I think.
I agree.
So for that reason, I think I would give it a 2. I don't know what I'm giving it a 2 for. I kind of like the player. I think he's okay, and I think he's had a rough time after obviously his debut. And I do feel like maybe we're looking a bit too much into it, because I don't think he was bad against Chelsea. Different game, mind you. But when he played against Chelsea in the friendly, who did we play in the Community Shield? Was it Chelsea? Yeah. No, not the Community Shield. Sorry. Did we play Community Shield?
What was that? It was some
Mind series
Cup.
Sorry, that thing. I don't think he looked that bad. I thought he looked okay. But we're gonna see. He needs to be good. He needs to be good. Next player, Nuno Tavares, 7 million from Benfica. Dr. Lee, I'll come back round to you. First estimations on Nuno. I know you're a bit down on him.
I don't rate him. I think he's rubbish. I can't lie.
Okay, fair enough.
It's trash.
Trash.
What? I think he's dead. I just think he's dead. Like he's big and he's strong, but what does that mean if you can't kick ball? I don't know. So yeah, but the thing is, he's cheap. He's a backup. Don't really care that much.
But when you sign rubbish backups, they end up playing. Hence why we had Kolasinac playing, Cedric playing, Holding playing. So when you sign rubbish backups, it's all right saying, "Oh, he's a backup." But if he is rubbish, we keep getting ourselves into positions where we lose a player, and all of a sudden we've got that trash out on the fucking pitch like we did on Saturday.
Yeah, I think he's. So I'll go for it. I'll give him a 5 out of 10. Like it's just a neutral signing. It's just whatever to me, man.
Okay, German done.
I mean, it's a prospective signing. He doesn't cost much money. I see the intention. I do think he, at the moment, doesn't look that good. I really don't like players that have poor coordination. He seems like he has poor coordination.
But just falling all over the place. You know?
This guy's just losing his footing all the time. Like, stand still, motherfucker.
Man's just busy. Like, wait, go.
So, but I do think he has potential. So that's like my caveat. I think he has potential because he has PMP, and I think he could be coachable. I'm giving the signing
just not by Arteta.
Probably not by Arteta. No, I'm giving the signing all things considered like 6 out of 10.
Cool. Nigerian Dan.
Tavares. I'll just give that a 5. I don't know enough about the guy. Actually, no. Let me. I'll give it a 6 because I don't know enough about the guy. He seems to have elite PMP, and yeah, it's a very cheap price. So I'll say a 6. To be honest, I can't really complain too much. To be honest, I don't think we'll be able to get anyone better than Tierney. And I don't think we needed to get anyone better than Tierney. So that's one of the times where I'm okay signing a backup player. So I'll save that one as a 6.
Yeah, the issue is obviously having a backup player for someone like Kieran Tierney is they're going to play a lot. And if you aren't ready, then we're in big trouble. I don't mind him. I don't see this, but I'm always like this. When we sign like a, it takes me a while to come around sometimes. But from what I've seen, he seems a bit erratic. Don't get me wrong. Like it's, he's a bit mad, but he does some decent things. But
it all looks by accident.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a great goal against Rangers in the preseason friendly, didn't he? Eh? That was a great goal, great touch.
The ball away every third pass and be
that was awful against
and be considered a serious footballer. I'm sorry, and then you can't like dribble into other players and they take the ball off you. And you end up on the floor. Like, bruv, it's like a Pepe at fullback. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, but he's got real PMP, mate. Real PMP
without being able to play ball.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I think he's got room to work with. I'm not too fussed with the technical side of things. If you got mad PMP as a fullback, like Tierney's not a brilliant footballer, is he? He's obviously just way more polished, and he's actually got weapons in his arsenal from a technical point of view. If Tavares can develop one of them, I think he could be a decent threat out there. And I need to see more of him anyway. I want to see him up against a real winger who's going to give him a bad day and see how he deals with it. I'm sure he's going to get his chance because Tierney can't stay fit. Next signing, Sambi Lokonga. I feel like I'm the only one who's not too like positive about this signing, and I haven't been from the start, to be honest. There's always been something about it that I feel like, yeah, he's young. I get it. He's 21 and people want to get behind the signing because he's a 21-year-old centre midfielder. I just don't, he doesn't scream Stardust to me. And I want Stardust in midfield.
I hear you, Liz. I fully hear you. But to me, I feel like he's definitely got potential and I've definitely seen good things, but I've seen bad things as well. So I can't judge him yet because I'm still not sure. Everyone go on mute. Sorry, I'm still not sure like what I've seen of him. Like he's had a terrible game against Brentford where he looked like he was gas mask, and he had a good game against Chelsea where he had a bit of time in midfield and could look forward. So for me, I see where Lewis is coming from in that I feel that for the right now, he doesn't add much to the midfield in terms of quality. But if he improves a lot of attributes, particularly his defensive attributes and his physical attributes, and he keeps and progresses on his good attributes, such as his forward passing and line breaking, I see maybe in 2-3 years we could have a top player on our hands. But for now, don't really do that much.
So what would you give that just signing out of 10?
Because it's still a future signing, I'm still giving it a 7 out of 10 signing.
Okay, that's a decent rating. German Dan?
Good price as well.
Yeah, what was he? 15 million, was it? Something like that?
Yeah, it was. I think it was at 15. I think it was 17 million euros or something like that. Lokonga, I like the player. I've touched on this a couple of times. I just feel like signing him in a way has blocked us signing another centre midfielder because we were stupid enough to renew Xhaka. And we're talking about the floor raising stuff all the time. What stops us from not buying Lokonga and just buying Bissouma and having Xhaka, Bissouma, and Partey as the 3 first team options, and then they're competing for the places? I think we'd be in a much better and stronger position if we would have done that. And evidently, money didn't really mean anything to us this window. So that extra 20 mil, it'd have been something light, So I don't want it to impact too much what I actually think about Lokonga as the player, but it has to impact my rating. So my rating is 1 lower than Leroy's because of that. But I will caveat and say that I do like Lokonga. I think he has potential. I like his passing. I think he's brave in his passing as well. Doesn't hesitate. And I hope he can be a good understudy to Partey. But I have to give it just a 6 out of 10. If he wouldn't have impressed me as much as he did in some of the stuff that he's done this season, it would have been way lower, like similar to the Ben White thing. Because for the reasons I've stated.
Cool, Dan.
I'm on the exact same wavelength as German DZ, in the sense that signing, when it happened, I was far more optimistic about it than I am now. Simply
because you thought another centre midfielder
was going to come, right? Because again, with the whole backups thing, I don't think there's a point buying backups when your first choices are not it, really and truly. So you've seen it in that game against Man City. If we had signed a top level centre mid, a Bissouma, a Bruno Guimaraes, they would be playing in that match, and we wouldn't really be messing up the shape. They wouldn't be sitting on the bench because their quality is certified and they can contribute now. And I'm all for project youth, this, that, and the other, when your first team is good enough to allow these guys time to develop and allow their quality to take their time to show through. The best atmosphere and environment for these young players is for them to have quality players around them so they can play without pressure. There's a lot of pressure now on Lokonga to come in and perform. And I don't think that's fair to him, and I don't think that's right for him. Some of these guys do thrive, but I think generally you want them where they can play with sort of the stabilizers on. They can ease themselves in, they can make their mistakes, and it's not going to cost the team. So for me, I'm going to give it a 6 rating. I do think he has a big bright future, and I am backing that sort of that Henry cosign, because Henry does not rate man easily. So if he's backing him, then I'm gonna back him as well. But for me, in terms of the timing of this window, I don't think anyone else was after him. I don't see how his price would have increased massively if he had another good season at Anderlecht. So for me, that could have been an exclamation point signing when you think your first team is sort of ready, and you can have him there later. So maybe you get him next summer after he's had more time to play in Belgium, and I would have prioritized a more Premier League ready centre mid instead of him. So that's why I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength as you guys, really. And they call it a raising the floor signing. I don't think it is raising the floor. I think Ceballos is a better player than him, and people are going to be like, "Oh, of course," but I just think Ceballos is a better player than Lokonga is right now. Not to say Lokonga can't get better, and in the future Lokonga might be better. He may well be, but I don't see how that could be a raising the floor signing when Ceballos was our third choice. Lokonga is now our third choice, and Ceballos is a better player. So it's a signing for the future. So I can't go lower than like a 6 personally, because I'm sure the kid has got talent. Although I don't, it doesn't scream Stardust to me. I don't see a top player in there personally. I see a decent centre midfielder, who, you know, yeah, that's just me. Next, couple more left. Aaron Ramsdale. Who wants to take this one?
I'll go again because I'll come back around to me. So from what I have to put a disclaimer in.
You're impressed by him, aren't you?
Nah.
Okay.
No, I can't judge keepers, but from what I've seen,
okay.
he looks pants. So
all right, okay. I thought you were gonna say after what you saw from West Brom,
are you nuts? What, against an under 13 team? Fuck off. So yeah, again, I'm gonna have to go for another. I'll go for 4 out of 10 for him. And again, the reason is I always think we'll be able to sell him. We bought him for what, 24 mil. So I think we'd be able to sell him for a reasonable fee. I think we could be able to sell him for 15, 16, 17 mil. So it's not going to be a big loss either way. It's really young for a goalkeeper. You never know, even though I think he's pants at the moment, he's 23. Emi Martinez was fucking appalling 4 or 5 years ago. Up
until like last year.
Yeah, so when he's 26, he might be a world beater. There might be certain things he does really well that they've seen and that they work on. So I'll give him a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10 for now.
Mm-hmm. German?
Again, the reason a 4 out of 10 because of the misallocation of resources, because no way we should be spending that piece on a goalkeeper this summer.
Yeah, I agree. German, Dan?
Yeah, Ramsdale, boy. Ramsdale, yeah. I don't know. My head is kettled, man.
Ramsdale, just that Ramsdale guy. The
Ramsdale guy, you know. I mean, I think the game against Wolves very hard to judge. I saw one pass on the floor, which Arsenal fans have rewinded as much as the Donda album. It looked decent, but it was under not a lot of pressure. I think was it Wolves who played? West Brom, sorry. West Brom, they didn't really press us. He had time on the ball. I don't think that was a good game to judge him on anyway. He looked okay in his actions. He made some saves that he should have made. So not something I'm very, very encouraged by. Like, this guy's a Premier League goalkeeper, man. He's playing against some under 23s. Of course he's going to look okay, you know. That's still his level. The resource that we used for him is about 30 million. I think very, very, very high for a goalkeeper. I think if we go into the list of top 10 of goalkeeper transfers, I think he's in the top 6 or something like that because of that now. Cumulative transfer fees for him are already like past 60 mil, I think, which is really high. So I think he must have something, which I don't see right now, but I recognize that he must have something because they were very, very keen on him all summer. So I don't know, maybe there's something underlining in the numbers or something that they've seen that, you know, that is very crucial and essential for goalkeepers that he has. I can't really judge his ability because I think he doesn't look good. And that's not because we signed him. I don't think he looked good. Before we signed him, I thought, damn, this guy's trash, man. So like, I'm not going to pretend like my opinion was different. That was my opinion then. My opinion can't have changed much just because he signed for Arsenal. I hope he does well. I really want him to be very, very good for us. I hope actually he plays next game. He starts next game. I want that to happen for him. I think he needs to be in there. Norwich and Burnley, I think, are good games for him to start on. But yeah, I think rating it, I think the only positives, I think there are 3 positives with Ramsdale. He's young, he's English, and he's competition for Leno. When Leno didn't have competition, he was doing a mazzoline. He was doing a mazzoline. I think the best periods we've seen Leno have at Arsenal was when he's getting Peter check the fuck out of here. He was really good then. And then when I think he could start to feel the Martinez pressure, because I think that must have been brewing. He must have been good in training, must have been pushing him in training. I think he had a very, very good period and form then. And when he got injured, Martinez slotted in calmly. So I think competition is good for him. I'm giving Ramsdale because of that a 5 out of 10, I think. And that's me actually being generous. I was way lower on the signing initially, but all things considered, 5 out of 10 for now. I think this could be a signing that might be okay, might be good. I just can't see it at the moment, but there must be something.
Dan?
Yeah, I basically echo these guys' thoughts, man. For me, Ramsdale was the worst starting keeper in the Premier League last year. And I thought he was bottom 3 the season before when Kepa was starting for Chelsea. I think Kepa was probably the only keeper I thought was worse than Ramsdale when he was at Bournemouth. So for me, that signing was scary. And then let alone what I feel about the quality of the player, I don't particularly understand the strategy there. I don't understand this desire to get a homegrown goalkeeper right now. No one else was in for him. That could have waited. We had bigger priorities. There were cheaper goalkeepers on the market, and you could have probably tackled this next summer and got him at a cheaper price, considering that Sheffield United literally just signed him the summer before. So for me, it's questionable the way that they've sort of arranged that goalkeeper signing. Funds spending £30 million on a goalkeeper when you still haven't addressed midfield. They hadn't signed a right back I'm pretty sure they didn't know this Tomiyasu guy was going to come in. Haven't addressed the forward line. I think it's a waste of resources in this window. If you wanted someone that could compete potentially with Bernd Leno, you could have gone for Onana for 5 mil, move Leno on next summer, and then you can go for your Ramsdale if that's the guy that you really want. That David Raya guy, I think he's homegrown as well from Brentford. Maybe you could have gone for him instead at a cheaper price. I don't think he'd have cost £35 million. So the quality of the guy, I think, is questionable. Hopefully, and I do hope and pray that I'm wrong about him. They've got the videos, they've got the clips, they see him in training, this, that, and the other. They know what the download is on my man more than me just watching him in games, because Sheffield United, they weren't very good, to be fair. But when I was watching this guy, I was making mistake after mistake. Balls were going through him. He's palming the ball straight back out into a 6-yard box. He seems half decent in the air, and I'm not really seeing his short kicking. I didn't watch the West Brom game either, so I'm just going to base my opinion on what I'm seeing of him, and it's not been good. So for me, that's a 2 out of 10 on the hope, and that 2 is just the hope that these men are right about him and I'm wrong.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and yeah, the only thing I would say is when you're saying, oh, there must be something, I'm pretty sure they said that about Runnison as well when they signed him. So
Willian as well. So.
There's a lot of these players that I'm not too sure about the recruitment logic behind them. But one thing I would say is it's not just Arsenal who rate him. And I know we were the only club in for him, but he is rated in the England national team setup as well. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but I think it does matter in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, there must be something about him. I haven't quite seen it. I do have the feeling that he is better at some things than Leno is. And the things that Leno really struggles with, i.e. playing out from the back short, I don't think Ramsdale is going to struggle with it. I think Ramsdale is quite a brave keeper with his kicking. From what I've seen, I think he's better aerially, just a bit more commanded than Leno. But from a shot stopping perspective, I don't think he's anywhere close to Leno. And like Leroy said, he's young, and we can only hope that he has like a seismic development with like his shot stopping and stuff like that, because and I'm just clinging on to the faith that, you know, Emi Martinez used to scare the shit out of me, and now I wish we had him. And these things can just literally happen overnight. You know, we were all, when Leno got injured against Brighton, I think it was, we were shit scared that Martinez was coming into the team. We lost the plot that evening, you know, and what do we know? He turned out to be a brilliant goalkeeper, and now he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league. So these things can happen. We just got to hope that lightning strikes twice, and, you know, Ramsdale turns out to be the bee's knees. But yeah, I'm going to go for like a 4 out of 10. Doesn't fill me with confidence. Martin Odegaard, Dr. Lee, obviously I'm expecting a 10 out of 10 from you.
8 out of 10.
Why only 8? Why only 8? 30 million for a player that you think is worth like 100. Surely that's 10 out of 10 if I've ever seen one, isn't it?
Nah. So good. I like the player. I love the price. I do have a few question marks about this knee injuries and stuff like that, even though like he didn't have the same injury last season. So that's my only reservation. And also I have a little bit of reservation about his versatility, because even though I like the player, there are a lot of managers I can see that come in after Arteta who won't like the player. So he is a little bit rigid in terms of the system use from that. That's why I've docked the 2 points. But otherwise, 30 mil for Martin Odegaard is a fucking bargain.
Just about right, in my opinion. German Dan?
Oh, fuck off.
What, for 1 goal, 2 assists? What do you want to pay more than £30 million for?
Shut up, man. You're not going through this again.
Yeah, I think we got 8 out of 10 as well. I would say 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think the price is very good. Obviously, I'm a fan of the player. I think, yeah, not too much to say about that. I do, however, I don't expect him to get goals, but I need his creative numbers to be high. Whether that's translating into assists is another thing, because I've seen Ozil put ridiculous amount of numbers in the creative sort of region up, and didn't get the assist that he probably should have, even though he had high assists. But I need him to have high creative numbers. If he doesn't,
big expected threat.
Boy, I need that. And
XT
was it expected assist as well? Yeah, that's one of the ones as well. Yeah, I need all
XA and XT, big XA and big XT,
and the packing stat needs to be high as well.
Yeah, so, big packing. Yeah.
So, yeah, I need that. So that's.
No, you got fucking nerds, bro. Fucking. Hey, I have no fucking idea what the fuck you're about.
So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Price is superb, and but I have an expectation. He needs to deliver it.
Dan?
Odegaard. Yeah, I give that one a 7. I think he's a good player, and I think the price is very good for him. The price, I think, is quite fair. I don't think Madrid could have really asked for too much, considering what he's done in his career to date. Like, not really had an outstanding European campaign, not really put up sensational production numbers other than like the underlying stats. So I don't think that they really could ask for, you know, sort of the 40, 50, 60 million pounds when the output really hasn't been there for someone that plays in that position. So I think it's a good price, it's a fair price. And I think I do have a feeling that the output is actually going to come here at Arsenal. I do think that he is capable of putting up some of these big numbers. And I think against these deep blocks, if we're playing Aubameyang up top, with Saka running in behind, Smith Rowe being that secondary creator to sort of draw some people and defenders' attention away from Odegaard, I think we could see some joy there. I think he's a very good playmaker, and you don't really get too many of them around. So I think if he plays to his maximum, I think we could get a very good player. Very good player there. He wasn't number one choice, but for me, but I am very, very happy with that signing. So I'll say I'll go up 7.5.
Go on, give it 7.5. Go on, Dan. Yeah, I'm the same. Look, I the reason I had a small Odegaard agenda is because
Small? Is this what you call it?
grossly, grossly overrated by Dr. Lee and his co-conspirators.
Bruv, this guy, bruv, you know you wear that hat every day now.
I know, because I paid so much money for it. I have to get my value out of it.
What?
Mate, when you pay 120 quid on a hat, yeah, you have to wear it every day. I wear it to bed. I'm going straight to bed right now. I'm going to wear it.
Fam, you know what? Literally, I've seen Lewis like 10 times since he bought that hat. Every single time it's on.
Every time I'm wearing it. I don't care. I wear it on my wedding day. I don't care. I wear it. Yeah, look, I think it's a good. I thought we could get him for about 40 million. So when I saw 30 million, I thought, do you know what? This is good business. And to get any player of, especially, I don't see this signing failing in any way, shape, or form. I think he could fail. I think he could fail at the club. I think he could be, I think he could be like below average on the pitch and maybe not meet the expectation that we all think he can reach. But I don't think he's going to be a poor player for us. And even if he doesn't meet our expectations entirely and he doesn't settle, we can sell him for good money anyway. We're going to get good money from him. I don't see us making a loss on this player. So yeah, for me, 8.5 out of 10, I think. I think he gives us good quality. Yeah. But I'm expecting
8.5.
8.5. I think it's good value, man. I think we've got him well below market rate, like a good 20-30% below market rate.
Okay, when he's player of the season, yeah.
What's that?
When he's player of the season this year.
When he's player of the season, I'll shake your hand, mate. But he better have more than 1 goal, 2 assists, yeah?
If he's player of the season, you can give me your hat.
I'll happily. If he's player of the season and he gets us into top 6, I'll give you my hat.
All
right, and then the last sided, maybe a bit hard to analyze because none of us have actually seen the geezer, but Takahiro Tomiyasu, Dr. Lee, you've given your thoughts on the signing itself, and his strengths and weaknesses from what you've heard. Just a rating out of 10, like what?
I can't rate it. It's pending. It's NA, non-applicable.
NA. If everything that you've heard about him is correct,
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Okay, German Dan.
Yeah, I find this one hard to rate. I actually need to see this brother play. I'm seeing bare thing pieces that Athletic is going brazy with the articles, but boy,
his PR team is in overdrive, boy.
They must have slid them some stacks, man. Because I'm seeing article after article, thread after thread, video after video, but I need to see this guy live in 4K, and really watch him. I go with 5 out of 10 as a default rating for now.
Dan.
Yeah, I'll go with the default. I need to see what he's about. I've literally never watched a single minute of this guy in a full game, so I can't really rate him too tough. Off the comps, it looks like he might be decent, and the main thing now is I want to see us be better in attack now, because there's no real excuses anymore in terms of what our defense is looking like and stuff. So I'll reserve judgment on that one signing, but if we still stink, then boy, it's looking scary.
Yeah, I'm probably neutral as well, but I'm gonna give it a low signing. I'm gonna give it like 3.5, because I just don't like this. I don't like that style of right back. So yeah, not for me, man. I just don't like it. I think he's more of a centre back. If he plays centre back, then and he's good there, then I wouldn't really mind it, But yeah, and how many Japanese players have actually come to the Premier League and done well?
I was gonna say, where's Brexit Lou? I knew it was gonna.
It's a bit scary. I mean, we do seem to sign a Japanese player like every 4 years for commercial reasons. Could this be another one? And it hasn't gone well, has it? Inamoto, Ryo Miyachi, Takuma Asano, Tomiyasu. Is it going to be full-time lucky?
I forgot about that Asano. I forgot about that Asano guy.
Listen,
Well,
I know this is a more high profile signing, and he's obviously played in Europe, and it's a bit different in that respect. And I always wanted, if you remember back in the day, Hidetoshi Nakata. I always wanted Nakata to come and play for Arsenal. I thought he was an absolute baller. So it's not to say Japanese players can't, not to say that Japanese players can't ball out and stuff like that.
Not saying I'm racist, but
yeah, not saying I'm racist, but I'm just wary of has there ever been a good Japanese player in the Premier League?
Okazaki, no.
Okazaki.
Good.
What's his name?
The centre back Yoshida.
Yeah,
but he gets dunked on, mate. If this guy is as bad as Yoshida is, then we're in trouble.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, he might be good. I'm not too sure. But yeah, just a rating then for the overall window, Dr. Lee. So you can include the outgoings in this as well.
So the reason I'm rating the window like this is because even though the signings I've rated probably a bit higher, I'm rating the window because of the business we haven't done and the outgoings that we haven't done. So the window is 1 out of 10.
1.
1.
Jeez. But we got rid of Willian.
Bro,
that's worth a mark in itself, isn't it?
In fact, it's a 0. Yeah, no, it's a 0 out of 10 because we fucking re-signed Xhaka and we didn't sell him. That is the worst business that we've done this window. That business, not signing a midfielder and keeping Xhaka and re-signing him to a new deal on a pay rise, is what has hindered this team from progressing the most.
Yeah.
Hard to disagree with that, man. German Dan, do you want to give your rating for the window?
Yeah, I've tweeted it some days ago. It's 2 out of 10 for me. The positives are Odegaard, and it really stops there. I think Odegaard is a good signing. We got rid of some players, but not enough. We didn't raise enough funds for me. I think 2 out of 10. I'm actually trying to be positive. It's difficult for me, but that's a 2 out of 10 I'll give. I think I look at the window holistically. We've signed 3 defenders, 1 centre midfielder, 2 midfielders. You could say Odegaard is not a forward.
Mm.
But how about some
three
goals,
defenders, 2 midfielders, and a goalkeeper?
How about some goals, man? How about some goals? How about that?
Yeah, it's not like we struggled to score last year, is it, Dan? Hey, it's not like we've scored 0 and 3.
It's not like we
scored 6 against West Brom, so it must be all right.
It's not like we had periods, only 15-minute periods of dominating the game, and the rest was just periphery. We should have signed a centre midfielder. Missed opportunity again. Unique opportunity missed. We had the big duffel bag, LV duffel bag in the window where Holy Europe is broke. Like you can go anywhere and go and come back with something. We had
on loan.
We came back with an Ed Hardy t-shirt.
On loan. Saul, who has the biggest death row contract.
Did he end up going Chelsea? Did he end up going Chelsea?
Yeah,
on loan.
On loan.
He's got like a 9-year contract.
I don't understand how they've managed that. No one can explain to me the logic behind Atletico Madrid.
They were willing to send Renato Sanchez on loan. And we kept Xhaka.
Yeah, some of these guys can't.
Wait, where's Renato Sanchez gone?
He didn't go into Wolves in the end, but they were willing to send him on loan.
Oh wow!
On loan. Trincao on loan.
Did Awar go? I actually tuned out of the window yesterday. Did Awar go?
I was still at
It's absolutely mad that the players that we've been linked with this summer, right? Basuma's still at Brighton. Yeah. Awar's still at Lyon.
Yep.
Maddison's still at Leicester.
Yep.
Who else were we linked to?
Locatelli's moved.
Locatelli's gone to Juve, but that was always going to happen, right? We said that from the jump. There's no chance of us getting Locatelli.
Yeah.
Who else were we linked to? Trying to think who.
Vlahovic, Lautaro, they're still at their clubs.
They all stayed, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this window's been a big mess, man. It's been a big mess.
Have gone nuts and got bare man out of their clubs.
Yeah, like you look at the best deals that we did. They're the guys we bought from European clubs. We got guys cheap. Those were quick deals to do. Odegaard was made available. Boom, 34 million. That done, wrapped. Tomiyasu, 16 mil, done, wrapped. Tavares, done in like 2 days. No one even did any rumours of that. Lokonga, they sort of dilly-dallied a little bit on that, but what is that, 17 mil? done.
Never seen
wrapped,
that out, really.
You know, so you could have gone with that 80 mil that you put on Ramsdale and White and splashed elsewhere in Europe, and come back with some top draw talent. But boy, you know, it didn't happen.
What's your rating, Dan?
It's a 1 out of 10 for me. Complete and utter disgrace. We had 4 positions that we needed to prioritize and upgrade: forward, attacking mid, central midfield, right back. We did right back, we did attacking midfield. But the fact that we spent £80 million on, you know, defenders, backups, goalkeeper, it's pretty insane to me. And I don't really understand the strategy. I don't think we move forward. We're probably going to have another season finishing 8th. And it would be a mad overperformance required from the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe for them to put up some serious numbers for us to really take a leap forward attacking wise. I don't know how likely that is to happen. I hope they have great seasons.
Emil Smith Rowe looks like he's about to explode, though.
He does, but you know,
we just need to we need to get him in a quality team, man.
Yeah, he's not assisted in like 12 league games or something like that now. You know, he's 21 years old.
He's doing it by himself, though, man.
He's not played 50 games, you know, for Arsenal Football Club. So asking him to now, you know, sort of take on that productivity burden, I think is a lot, man. They need to ease the burden off these guys, and we've done the opposite.
That's fine. That's what Odegaard's here for, no?
Hopefully, but I don't think that's enough. So we'll see.
I probably rate it around the similar as you guys, between 2, 3 to 1. I think is fine. My issue is we haven't signed any certified players. All of them we can put a big fat question mark next to. Even Odegaard, we can put a big fat question mark to, because we're buying Odegaard based on what we think he is capable of doing. Right? I don't know he is capable of doing it. I'm not confident that he's able to produce the goods that we need. But for 30 million, I can stomach it. It's worth a go. But Ben White, massive question mark. Massive. We're talking about, if only he could be as good as John Stones for 50 million. You know, it's massive question mark. Aaron Ramsdale, massive question mark. You know, we're talking about, maybe lightning could strike twice and maybe could be as good. He can have an Emi Martinez spike in development. Loads of maybes. Shit we don't know. Nothing we don't know. None of these guys are like solidified, certified players that we can say, right, we're going to get X, Y, Z out of this player. Boom, 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 boom. You know, Tomiyasu might be that guy, to be fair. He might be that guy that we know exactly what we're going to get. I just don't know what it is. But so question mark for me. Lokonga, massive question mark. Young, seems talented. No idea what he's capable of producing. Nuno Tavares don't even know what he is capable of producing. Massive question mark again. So, yeah, and then let's not even talk about the outgoings. The outgoings has just been ridiculous. Who did we get rid of in the end? Torreira, Willian, Willock, Guendouzi.
Only one actual sale, so it do have
Bellerin went
over the summer. Then he made actual player sales.
Yeah, and we've still got Kolasinac. We've still got El Neni. We've got 5 right backs now. Yeah.
Inshallah, they go in Turkey in the next week. Inshallah.
But how can we get rid of El Neni? We've got 3 centre midfielders.
Oh, sell him. Maitland Niles can do the job El Neni's doing in midfield.
Yeah, maybe. But even then, it doesn't. This shit doesn't make sense, man. It don't make any sense. Like, how have we not bought a centre midfielder?
And
anyway.
you know what the thing is about the young, because we keep saying young players, yeah? The only reason we rated Odegaard high because we've seen him play, but we've also heard about him for time. Like
it's the reputation.
He's been touted as an elite talent, yeah? None of the other players that we've signed up have been touted as an elite talent. If we'd have signed, like, I don't know, some other young players, maybe that Nuno Mendes that Sporting have, and
or Camavinga.
Yeah, Camavinga. If you signed like elite level young players, we would have more confidence in what the business has done. But boy,
that's what I'm saying. It's not good enough just to sign young players. Like, people keep talking about, project youth. That's not enough. That's not enough. You can actually, how do you think players like, do you think Xhaka has never been young? Do you think Mustafi has never been 19, 20? Of course they have. They were shit when they were young. We bought them when they were young and shit. Both things can be mutually, like, they can coexist together. You can be shit and you can be young. Just because you're a young player doesn't mean you're like, oh yeah, let's give him some leeway. Young, he could be good. We need fucking quality now. We need quality now. Seriously, we need quality now. And I'm just not buying this whole Project U shit. I understand it. Don't get me wrong. We need to build for the future, but we need to win football games as well, man. And if you're going to sign young players, make sure they're good. And these kids, I don't know. I don't know if they're good. Time will tell. I hope they are. I really do. But I feel like today I've just been chatting a load of shit. So it's been one of those evenings.
2-hour fucking pod. Everyone.
Yeah. I've just seen. Oh my god, is it gone midnight?
Yeah.
Oh my days. All right.
Everyone is living.
We've actually been talking shit because we've done 2 hours of podding and I can't think of one smart thing that we've actually said.
Honestly, like, some of this was just pure ranting, you know. Like,
we didn't even lose watchers, man. We're still on 56 people, man. Big up all you, man.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it
Apart
up.
from you're not here for the pain, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, fucking cunts like Tobes and Elijah pricks. Anyway, guys, take it easy. We'll be back. We're gonna do a Patreon piece this week, so big up all you patrons. And we'll be back next week with a normal pod. Take it easy.
Peace.